Christmas is nearby and you guys are either thinking about building a new PC or you're thinking about putting one together in the near future. Well, this video is going to talk about my top picks when it comes to PC cases, and PC cases is actually the most overlooked thing in a PC build because we tend to think more about graphics card, memory, CPU, RGB memory, all that good stuff, and storage, and we just don't really think about PC cases. Now there's three things I look at when it comes to purchasing a PC case. One would be, does it have enough room to fit all my hardware? It's very important to make sure at the end of the day you have enough room to fit all your hardware inside the PC case. Second would be airflow. Whether you're doing water cooling or air cooling, it's very important to make sure that the case can exhaust air out and intake air in. For water cooling people, make sure your radiators can dissipate heat correctly and they're not choked, and they can intake air to cool down all your components. Now third would be, how good does it look to you? At the end of the day, you can have a really beast computer or you can have a crappy computer, but if it doesn't look good to you, then it's no good. So make sure the case looks good to you and you will be happy at the end of the day. So let's go ahead and jump on the computer and let's check out what picks I have for you guys. All right, kicking off the first chassis on the list, this is the Phanteks Enthoo Pro II Tempered Glass Edition. You guys can tell in the front and in the back, this is a beautiful system. It is an absolute unit of a chassis. You get basically everything you're looking for in a chassis, in this case at an affordable price. Now this is a dual system chassis, so if you guys wanted to go ahead and do maybe a streaming PC on the bottom over here and do your gaming setup right over here, that's totally possible. You also get RGB lighting right inside the chassis that diffuses the light perfectly and nicely. You get filtration in the front, so you get a lot of intake when it comes to airflow. So it's a beautiful case, and honestly this I had to throw this one on my list. Now with this chassis, it is a full tower ATX, so keep that in mind. Also, it supports Mini ITX. You can have up to 2 Mini ITX. You can do a micro ATX, an ATX, and also for you big motherboard lovers out there, you can also do an extended ATX. Now as far as storage support, you do get 12 3.5 inch hard drives, and you can put up to 11 2.5 inch SSDs. And you can already look at the PC chassis from over here. This is how it would look like when it's fully built. Now this is a very unique case. It offers pretty much a slim system support. It's fabric mesh in the front, really looks great. When you get close to this case, you can really appreciate the craftsmanship that went into this PC case. Thermally and acoustically, the Enthoo Pro II is pretty much a phenomenal performer. It does have a mesh, like I said, so you won't have any issues when intaking air in the front if you're going to be putting in maybe 4 120mm fans up there. But you can tell from the picture, you can do up to a 360mm radiator at the top. You can do 4 120mm fans in the front as well. So you have plenty of options when it comes down to this case. Also, what I like about Fantax is they established the case in a way where you can actually showcase your SSDs. So if you guys have, you know, multiple RGB SSDs that you'd like to show off, and I understand why would you want to do so, because I love RGB as well, so you can go ahead and display them right in front of the chassis. And I think the selling point on this chassis is, if you're looking to do a dual system PC, this would be phenomenal. It's got supreme airflow like listed over here. So this is actually one of my top cases, and I thought I'd throw this in the list for you guys just to kind of give you guys an idea about this chassis. All right, so some of my reasons to purchase this chassis: it's got excellent thermal performance and cable management, so it features a ton of flexibility in this chassis. It's affordable for its size. Also, it's got a very flexible interior, so you can design this system however you'd like. And plus the front I/O, I feel like it's very luxurious, lavish. It's really nice. Now, reasons to avoid this: maybe you don't want such a big case. Well, this is a big chassis. There are no fans included in this chassis, and also I feel like maybe materials could have been a little bit better. As you guys probably know, or maybe you guys didn't know, the Enthoo Elite had really high class material in there. This one not so much, but still, if you're willing to overlook that, this chassis would be one of the top picks for you guys. So let's go ahead and move on to the next case I have for you guys. So we're jumping into Be Quiet's territory. This is the Darkbase 700, a beautiful mid-tower chassis. Supports extended ATX, ATX, micro ATX, mini ATX. I believe you can do 7 3.5-inch hard drives in this system. Also, you can do 9 2.5-inch SSDs. It is included with 2 fans. So 2 fans you get with the system. They're 140mm fans. I think this is also a great selection if you're looking for a mid-tower chassis. Plus, it's got that sleek, very black look, which I like, and you get a hint of RGB right in the front over here, so it doesn't let anybody down when it comes to the performance and the build quality of this chassis. So this chassis is pretty much a class of its own, I believe so. At first glance, you look at this chassis and you just think, oh no, this is another chassis, tempered glass panel. But the further you look into the system, it's clear how much effort Be Quiet put in this chassis. It's high in performance enclosure. It's clear, like, they came out with this chassis just wanting to dominate the market, and I believe this Darkbase 700 chassis is pretty much going to be a winner for some of you out there that are looking to do a very stealthy PC build, but also throw a little hint of RGB. And if you don't like the RGB, you can always turn them off right here. I think it's a great chassis. Every intake fan mounting location in the Darkbase 700 is pretty much thought out and is equipped with like washable nylon, so you don't need to worry about like any kind of dust building up in your system, because that nylon is going to protect it and just make everything look nice and clean. All right, so basically that is going to be the 700, the base 700. So let me tell you guys what are some reasons to buy this. It's got excellent thermal performance. It's a great looking chassis. I mean, just look at it. Let this load up. So it's excellent chassis. It's embedded lighting. So like I said, it's got RGB lighting right here in the front on both sides of the front. Also, it's tempered glass side panel. It's got low noise, excellent filtration system. You're pretty much winning when you're getting this case. So now some of my reasons to avoid this chassis is the price. Right now Amazon's selling this for $179. Newegg is, I believe, $200. So you can find different prices out there, but it is a little bit of a high price chassis. Also, I wish they could have thrown a third fan in here. 2 is just not enough with the price. I think the third one would have sweetened the deal a little bit, but pretty much that's the Darkbase 700. If you're willing to overlook those reasons not to buy it, then this chassis could be for you guys. So that leads us to the next chassis on my list. This is Fractals Define 7. This is an absolute best case for quiet high-end rigs, either for gaming or workstations. It's a mid-tower chassis. If it's ATX, Mini ITX, Micro ATX, you can have up to 7 3.5-inch hard drives in here, 2 2.5-inch hard drives, SSDs. Also, what this one is really nice is it includes 3 140mm fans with 3 120mm fans, so you don't need to worry about buying fans if you're on a budget and you just want to buy a case that is equipped with those fans. This should be an option for you guys if you're in that lane. Now this chassis is a dual layout interior, basically vented top panels, dedicated water cooling fill port. So for all you water cooling people out there, you don't need a step bit to try to drill into it to create one. This has already come equipped with it, which I think is super sweet. The Define 7 is just extremely solid construction, top notch. I've built in this chassis before. From start to finish, you would appreciate your build after you complete it. You know, this is pretty much worth the money. To me, I believe it's like $120, $130. You can find it right now on sale at Amazon, but it ranges around that price. Okay, so some of my reasons to buy this is got to include it tempered glass side panel, an excellent filtration system, great thermal performance, low noise, water cooling support. It's got USB 3.1 Type 2 Gen C headers, and it's very versatile. One reason why I would avoid this chassis is there's no RGB lighting. So this is pretty much a black case, and it's just one of those stealthy looking cases that you don't want no RGB. Now you can choose different type of colors. You can do white, you can do gray, so you're not stuck with this black version, but you have options. And also, like I said, only reason to avoid this if you're looking for some bling and some lighting. This is not going to have it, so you're gonna have to throw an RGB strip in here just to get that going. So let's go ahead and move on to the next case on my list. All right, so this leads us up to Corsair, the IQ 4000X RGB tempered glass edition. Right here is the nice case. If you're looking to stay within that Corsair family, that ecosystem, this chassis would be perfect for you guys. It's pretty much the best premium RGB ATX case you guys can get your hands on right now. For this price, it ranges around $150, $160. It supports Mini ITX, ITX, Micro ITX, ATX. You can put up to 2 3.5-inch hard drives and also 2 2.5-inch SSDs. Now the front does have a tempered glass panel, but it does intake air from the side vents, so you don't need to worry about any kind of choked radiators or just feeling like there's no airflow going in. I personally built in the 1000D Obsidian and I love that case. I've seen this case in action. I think this case is actually one of the best RGB cases, and just in general, Corsair has never let any of its consumers down when it comes to RGB. In my personal opinion, I feel like they do a great job. It's very well thought out. Now this is a sleek gaming tower. It comes with 2 tempered glass side panels and 3 RGB spinners. It's usually priced, like I mentioned, at $135, $150. It's not cheap, but its design is like very thoroughly considered. As you build in this system, you'll find out what this system's all about. It's an extremely easy and it's convenient chassis. Pretty much everything just makes sense when you're building into the system. The RGB lightings will blow you away. Now the only thing is, you probably would want to change the fans if you're looking to purchase this case, just because I feel like the fans are not that strong. You probably want to do some MLs, maybe some LLs if you want to stick within Corsair family, or if you're looking for some performance fans, maybe SPs or maybe a different brand like Noctua. But these fans are just not doing it. They're great show fans, but when it comes down to the performance, not so much. So reasons to purchase this chassis is, first, it has clean aesthetics. It's great for thermal performance if you can get different fans. It's got also a mesh option, so if you're doing a budget build, maybe you want to go with the mesh option. All right, so my reasons to purchase this case: one would be clean aesthetics. It's good enough in thermal performance. If you can switch the fans, you probably could do better performance when it comes to thermal options. Also, it's got a mesh option for performance enthusiasts, so if you're looking to build a PC on a budget, maybe you want to look at the mesh version. It's also got an IQ hub, which saves you some money there, and it's relatively quiet. Now, a few things just to be aware about in this case: it only comes with one USB Type A port. Also, the fans don't spin it fast enough. That's why I said you need to switch these out. So if you can get around those two things, then pretty much this case would be a winner for you. Coming in at $100, this is the Evolve Shift 2, another great chassis by Fantax. This is one of my favorite Mini ITX chassis. It's got a small footprint, it's mobile, it's perfect for LAN parties. If you're looking to always move your PC around, this system would be best for you. Now, this is an ITX tower. It supports Mini ITX only. I believe you can have up to 1 3.5-inch hard drive and also 2 2.5-inch SSDs. It includes one 140mm fan, and this is an absolute unit right here. I love the way that Phanteks designed this. If you guys remember, me and my sister, we built a Mini ITX system for her and her college, and pretty much she was gonna go with this, but it didn't have a handle and she needed something to just pick up and go. But if you are looking to build either an HT PC or if you're looking to do something very small, this should be one of the options that you should look at. You can also fit up to a full-size graphics card in this chassis, as you guys can tell right over here, and it is a very nice chassis. First glance, when I'm looking at this chassis, it just screams like small footprint. It's beautifully anodized aluminum panels. It's priced at $100. You guys get a lot of features in this chassis. You can build this system within 3 hours. Couple hours you should have this system done. So if you're looking to build something really quick, just throw in the components. This would be it for you guys. Now, reasons to buy this chassis: it's beautiful glass aluminum paneling, it's really nice, it has a small footprint, straightforward interior layout. So there's pretty much one way to build in this, and that's the way you guys are gonna build. It's pretty straightforward. It fits big GPUs, which is a win for me because you can throw in a 3090, 3080 Ti, 3080, you name it, you can throw it in here. Reasons to avoid this chassis: it only fits 120mm AIOs for CPU cooling, so if that's something you want to do, maybe you gotta look somewhere else. Challenging build due to tight space, so sometimes you are gonna run into the issue where things get a little bit tight, but if you're patient enough and you take your time, you can get around it. Also, the top switch gear is a little bit wobbly, so you may want to jerry rig that or do something to kind of fix that. But this is going to be the chassis, and I believe this is one of the best Mini ITX chassis you guys can get your hands on if you're going to be doing a Mini ITX build this Christmas season. We're going back to Fractal. This is the Meshfy 2. This is an awesome case. You're looking at a nice 3D mesh in the front, perfect for air filtration. It's a mid-tower chassis. It supports Mini ITX, Micro ITX, ATX, and extended ATX, so you can throw in one of your big Maximus Asus motherboards in here, or a big Gigabyte motherboard, MSI, whatever big motherboard you have, it'll fit in here. You can do 11 3.5-inch hard drives. Also, you can do 4 2.5-inch SSDs. Now, this case does come with 3 included fans. They're 140 millimeters each. Now, one thing about Fractal, just to keep in mind, they don't try to reinvent anything. They already have the blueprint for their cases, and I feel like every time they come out with a case, it's well thought out, it's perfect. This one would fall on my list definitely, just because if you're looking for a mid-tower chassis with perfect front intake, air filtration, and air intake, this would be it right over here. You can do water cooling builds in this, as pictured right here. You can throw pump, you can do your tubings, everything. This case fits it all. Now, for support for radiator, you can do 360 millimeters in the front right over here. You can do a 420 millimeter on the top, and you can do a 280 on the base. So this is one of those cases that you just, if you want something not too big and not too small, this case would be it. Okay, so some of my reasons to purchase this case: the interior is brilliant. They did a great job inside. They made everything really easy. They also throw in some zip ties, cable ties in the back, so you can have a nice clean cable management. Also, excellent cooling performance. With that front intake right here, that 3D mesh, there shouldn't be any reason that there should be any components being choked with no air. This is actually well thought out and excellent for performance. Also, easy panel and dust filter removal. There's a lot of cases out there that when you're trying to remove the dust filters, it's like difficult. This is very easy. Reasons to avoid: it's overkill for modest builds. So if you're not trying to do pretty much a filled build, then this would pretty much be overkill, and it also has a slightly buzz motor sound. So keep that in mind. If you're willing to overlook those aspects of this chassis, this case would definitely be a top contender. So my number one pick for PC chassis is the Lian Li Air Mini. This is an absolute beast. It is a pleasure to work in this case. I've built in this one before. That's why I chose this as my number one chassis. If you're looking to do a small, nice ATX build, it's got 4 3.5-inch hard drives, 2 2.5-inch SSDs, and you get 2 140 millimeter fans, and you get 1 120 millimeter fans as well. So they thought of everything. They're also throwing in a bunch of fans at you guys. This is one of those cases that has extreme airflow. It's got perfect filtration. It is priced at $110. You get a lot for your money with this case, including, like I mentioned, 3 PWM fans. It's a bit pretty of an aluminum, glass panel, handsome look, plenty of IOs. It's just a perfect full ATX compatible chassis. Chassis features unusual side-to-side chamber design, so you get that look of like an aquarium. Also, when you're building in it, it's a breeze, and the performance will blow you away. Now, if I were to build another small PC, it would definitely be in this. I'm not talking about Mini ITX, I'm talking about just a small ATX form factor. This is definitely it, because this can do water cooling, it can do air cooling. It looks good. You can also move this around, but I feel like the front intakes blowing in air in, and then also the exhaust in the back blowing it out, it makes perfect for thermal performance. I think this chassis is it. Plus, the one I would get is the Snow Edition. That just looks really nice. It looks clean, and I like it. I'm digging it. So my reasons to purchase this chassis would be improved cooling and the 3 PWM fans. Also, it supports ATX boards and power supplies, and at $110, you can't beat it. For what you get with this system, $110, that's why I picked it out. I feel like the price to performance is perfect on this. Now, reasons to avoid this chassis would be because it ditches aluminum for steel, no longer is an ITX focused chassis, and it has some filtration implementations on the bottom that are kind of just a little bit I'm iffy about. But if you're willing to overlook it, this is my number one pick when it comes to PC chassis. All right, guys, so that was my top PC case list, and I felt like the range between $60 to $170 was the sweet spot, just because if you want to spend a little bit more than that, it can go towards GPU, different CPU, different memory. You can put that money somewhere else where you can benefit on it a little bit more. These cases that I showed today, you can pretty much do anything in them that you can do in a $600, $800, even $1,000 case. You can have plenty of storage, plenty of airflow. I mean, it looks good. So I thought this was actually the right selection. And if I were to build a new build and I want something smaller, I would definitely do the Air Mini. I thought that case was really sweet. I really like that Snow Edition. I have an XL right now, so just going for something this big to that small, but having the same functionality and look, I would definitely dig. So definitely, if my future builds, if I do a smaller case, I would definitely choose that one. Right now I'm currently trying to work on this Alder Lake system, but I'm waiting on some DDR5 memory and some different components to come on in. As soon as that comes in, I'll film it, upload it, take you guys along with me on the journey, and you guys can see what that PC will look like. Other than that, guys, sound down below what you guys think about this video. Would you guys done it differently? Maybe different cases, different selection, different lists. I'd love to know. Also hit that thumbs up button, subscribe down below, and I always appreciate it for your support. Also, guys, have a great holiday season, and I will catch you on the next one.